volumes.
Shut the hell up, Pod.
I was going to say, I've bumped mine into airplane mode.
All right. Took care of it. There we go.
Awesome. Guys, welcome to KritzKast episode 140. I'm Agro, and joining me are these guys. We're about to do an introduction. In fact, we're about to get started. I hopefully, fingers crossed, Tempest is ready to go on the whole, messages to the world in terms of Twitter and Steam.
Oh my god! Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Oh man, you freak me out every time you do that. Oh no!
Oh no! Yeah, it's done.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I think if you want to sort of unloosen your jeans a little bit, and maybe grab another donut from the shelf, and make sure your beer is ready and cool, just the way we like it over here in England land. We shall get started on the show.
England land sounds redundant since England has...
The enemy has taken our intelligence.
Podcast.com presents KritzKast, the Team Fortress 2 podcast.
Now that is what I want to see.
With your hosts, Agro, Boobies, Kronos,
Hey, what just happened?
and Tempest.
I'm one of your many hosts, Tempest, and joining me this week we have...
Oh, hi, I'm Agro. I'm a pyro, and I'm currently drinking Duvel, which is nice. And
Oh, Dovit.
Devut. No, it's not Devut. It's Devil.
Oh, it's Devil. Okay, sorry.
I believe it means the devil, which is kind of appropriate because we're getting awfully close to Halloween. Anyway, along with me and him and my beer, there's also this guy.
There's Kronos, who's eating breakfast at the moment, and pretty sure he just chomped down on a very hard bone. Ah, ow.
Ow.
What
Poor
cereal
Kronos.
are you eating?
Steak.
Ham!
You have that with milk?
A ham cereal. And that voice that you just heard is the lovely, gorgeous, the vivacious, the incredible Mr. Eric Ruth. Is the sound people make when they're running away.
What the fuck was that? That was the sound of Eric Ruth dying horrifically in some variety of ham cereal-based incident.
Well, I do love ham cereal. I mean, us Americans, Kronos will clearly speak for it. Every now and again you get those bones, but, the rest of it's worth it.
What does it say about steak? It's the most important meal of the day. Breakfast steak.
Steak. The most breakfast.
Yes.
Important steak of the
Unfortunately,
day.
I'm not Saxon the Hill, and I don't eat the bones at the same time.
You lightweight.
And hello, by the way, to those who said hello to me in the chat. So, hi, guys.
Yes, because of course we have Mr. Eric Ruth here. He's been on before, Mr. Eric Ruth from Eric Ruth Game. I just want to say Eric Ruth one more time to make it more accurate.
I'm starting to get out of the habit now of calling him Eric Ruth. I'm trying desperately to just call him Eric. I understand.
I might just call him Mr. Ruth. Just
Ruth
because
man.
Rooster. Hey, you're a rooster.
Yeah,
Mr. R.
Here comes the rooster. That sounds like what the hell?
Oh boy, but yes, we're here to talk about Team Fortress 2 and everything that's kind of happening with it. This week is kind of slightly spooky, but not very spooky, just slightly spooky. We've had a series of updates since the last time, 4 of them in fact, mainly to do with everything with the Maniversary, so we'll be mulling through that and seeing whether or not anybody cares. We've got the Halloween update, but not the Halloween update. It's an old Halloween update. Again, we'll talk about that later. If you play TF2, you probably already noticed it by now. However, you may not have noticed the unofficial Halloween update that's come from tf2mods.net. So we'll be talking about that, as well as 3 competitive events from Australia. That's right. The Oz scene is actually doing more stuff recently, so we want to give them a plug, give them a heads up, because we want to get that kind of stuff going as well. And I'm still slightly confused as to what the last place is, but Asian Fortress.
Yeah. You thought ozfortress was the only fortress that you hadn't heard of until recently. Asian Fortress is. We had a thing about South African Fortress as well recently. So
I know.
we're getting. These guys are getting out there, man.
And of course, we want to quickly talk about the ETF2L Highlander League. The reason being because, well, no,
Bit
I'm
of
gonna save that
rivalry.
one.
Bit of
A
rivalry.
bit of rivalry going on. Yeah, there we go. And of
Oh,
course,
right
we've
here?
got
Oh,
your
yeah.
emails that have come from Postman Pat Sack. So it's a bit of a weird week. Things are all kind of all over the place, but
You're
we'll
saying that
try
like,
and
as if things
well,
don't come from Postman Pat's sack on a regular basis. I'm used to it at this point.
bit of a weird sack,
You'd have thought we'd be used to it, yeah.
but no, we're just not.
Always surprised.
So this week, last week we had the Maniversary update that happened.
Or
and
the Break
very
TF2 anniversary.
Yes, the Break TF2 update. But now we've had about 4 updates since then that have tried to fix several problems that have come with it. Some of them have been fixed. I know servers, for the most part, are a lot more stable than they used to be, but some client-side issues still happen. I was playing earlier on today, and all I did was press tab. All I wanted to see was the scoreboard when I entered the server, but no, apparently that was a crash-worthy decision that I made. So
Well, you'll
It's
think
still-
twice about tabbing now.
I will, won't I? I'll be like, I want to see who else is playing, but maybe I don't.
Yeah. Right.
So, well, I'm hoping it's going to start getting a little bit more stable. But anyway, but there's been some other stuff that's happened with it. The actual Maniversary sale has finished now, so all the things that were going on with that. Although the Maniversary packages, which is the gift that you get with the paper hat in it, are still being dropped for a short while at least.
Yeah.
So if you've got any friends that didn't, get on when the Maniversary stuff was happening, tell them to log on now, and then they'll get their free hat, and
It might even be a good hat, but more likely it's going to be a paper hat.
more likely going to be a paper hat. Yeah.
More or less.
Not that there's anything wrong with paper hats. I don't want to seem like we're somehow racist.
Unless it's
against
raining,
paper
in which
hats.
case there are plenty of things wrong with paper hats.
Aren't the paper hats just the paper boats as well? I don't know
Yeah, I think that's.
which
I think
doesn't make
Almost.
sense.
It's a slightly different folding thing, but almost.
Never made sense to me. How could you make a boat out of paper and it not dissolve?
Oh, it does. It just is a boat until it fails. Just like every boat on the sea is a boat until it becomes an anchor.
True.
So when you're in the water, you have 2 states: boat or anchor. Those are your
Okay.
2.
Yeah.
Those are your
Yeah,
two
the idea
choices.
is that you try and keep the first one as long as possible to not become the second one. It's really hard to do that with paper.
But there are some. I mean, besides mainly stability stuff, there's some things that have been added into these updates that I kind of want to quickly say about. Last week we talked about the abuse report functionality that was added into the game due to the possibility of goat seeing. They've now attached that to a key, because before you had to kind of go through this and do all of that, and I still found it difficult to find where it was going. Now you just got to press F7. Press F7 and you can report abuse. So if somebody's put up a spray that's massively offensive, you can hit that F7. If somebody's got one of their ID tags or a clan badge or a sign with something that's massively inappropriate, just click on that F7 key and you can file a report, abuse report against them. I have no idea how effective they are, whether or not Valve just look at it and go, yep, he shouldn't be doing that. We'll take their stuff away. Or whether, which would be the logical step, if people keep doing abusive sprays, you just say, okay, well, that player can't have sprays. But I don't know if that is something that they do.
I like to think that some poor, like the lowest programmer at Valve, got saddled with the job of making an auto recognition program that looks for the most commonly abused things like Goat C, 2 girls, 1 cup, stuff like that. Just
He's doing like a
9 men, 1 cup.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Lemon party. Ugh.
But yeah, like we're saying, they fixed some server crash issues that were going on. One of the weird things, I don't know why they use the word fixed, but one of the things that you can do rebuild headgear, so you can get 2 hats and mix them into a brand new one. They made it so that there's a lot more hats that can be used on that. Apparently, there were some restrictions; some of them couldn't be done. So now pretty much everyone can be turned into it. Because I know when the updates happened, people were saying it's like, okay, I'm looking for 2 hats I don't have, so I can craft a new one. Hopefully, it'll be one of the new ones. And then, because it's happening right now, I might get a number on it. So people were crafting away old hats and stuff like that. But one of the ones they've added to it is the lo-fi.
Yep.
So
one of the most exclusive hats in TF2 at the moment, you can now craft out of being a lo-fi.
You can just craft it away.
Yeah, just craft it away. In the same way,
That
I mean,
seems
you
like
can.
a waste to me.
It
It does seem
kind
like a
of
waste.
does seem like a waste. The only thing I can think of is
I love my lo-fi.
if you accidentally acquired a lo-fi because you were awesome but not awesome enough to know what the lo-fi was, and you thought you wanted another hat, and eventually the thing is that I think that our server won't allow you to have another one after you've crafted one away.
No, we've got restrictions on that. Basically, once you've been given one, that's your restriction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not a case of you have to. You can have one, and then when you get rid of it, you can have another. No, it's once they've been given out. I'm the only person that has two due to the fact that we were testing the stuff.
Yeah,
And
so
I
you're
feel
not the only
guilty
person
about
that's
that.
got.
So you are legally required to be the only person who ever does it on
Yes.
purpose.
On purpose, exactly. Although I still would feel horribly guilty about that. I'd be hovering over it, going, "No, I can't do it. No."
Well, I don't know if anyone is out there who. I mean, I know that it's theoretically possible. I fear that someone has already done it, but I'd be very curious to see if you actually can. I'm kind of. Do you want to craft one away, Tempest? No. It just feels like sacrilege, doesn't it?
You can't make me. You know that's going.
On the other hand, though, if you're one of those people who really does like your hats being valuable and rare and stuff, everyone who does hold on to one, suddenly theirs is going to increase in value.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Although
Not that you can
technically,
do anything with it because you can't
I was
trade
going to say, technically it's priceless at the moment because you can't trade it. So it has no value. It cannot have a value attributed to it.
Technical.
In fact,
it would have a value if you decided to sell the account, which would be dumb.
Well,
Which you're
yeah,
not
that's
allowed
a little
to.
bit
for
different.
that hat.
Yeah.
But yeah.
In fact, there's a website that I've been looking at and I'm highly tempted to utilize called TF2WH, which is Trading Warehouse. They've got an automated system where you say, "I want to trade in this," and then you get credits on your account, which you can then buy,
Used to
quote
buy
unquote,
other stuff.
buy
Yeah.
other items on there that other people have already traded in. So I put on some of my things on there to see how many credits I would get, and I've got a vintage hat that I never use ever, so I'm looking at that going, maybe I could go get a load of strange items that I might want. But I put in the lo-fi, and it just comes up as, like most items, the basic items gives you 500 credits. He's like 150. I don't know what it is. I'll give you a little bit of money for it. I'm like, God, you don't realize what this is at all.
Yeah.
No, people who don't know
Don't know.
really don't know how valuable it is.
Yeah.
So
So we actually did. I want to do a bit of a shout out at the end, but I may as well move it forward to now because I don't mind.
yeah, sure one.
We did a meetup with the guys with Comedian, and basically we kind of put it out there saying I'm meeting with Comedian in a pub in London. Does anybody fancy coming along? We got a big turnout from UKCS guys, so big shout out to those guys, and really shout out to anyone who came along. But it was kind of cool. But I remember talking to them then about the normals for a lo-fi long wave, and we actually only have 25 normal lo-fis in existence.
Most people have the vintage.
Most people have the vintage one because that's what we wanted to sort of give out as being like, you've been with us longest, or we really celebrate you, so have a vintage. But we ended up only having 25 normal hats in the wild. So that is,
Which is
I
weird.
think, is probably technically the least number of actual hats of
Normal.
any value.
That is the
anywhere.
rarest. Yeah, that is the rarest of.
Of
Do
any
the
hat
wiki
anywhere.
people give out normal or vintage?
I think Wiki guys gave out normal,
just-
but
they-
even if it
they
doesn't
just
matter
all
what they
give out
give out,
normal.
yeah, I think So that's,
So yeah, that is the normal lo-fi is literally the rarest hat in the game.
yeah.
So to compensate, we're turning all of your hats into normals, people.
No,
I
I don't think we are going to do that.
don't think we have that
might.
capability.
But we will. All right. Finishing off these updates and stuff, so we can kind of talk about some of the things that we really want to talk about. I was moaning last week about the health pack. The small health pack got changed from like 20.5% to 20%. It's now gone back to 20.5%. It's one of these really bizarre changes. I have no idea why, and I don't even think Valve know why. I think somebody may have lent on a button or two.
It's
when they were doing
it's
the
like
code.
a really kind of it's an accountant change, like
Yeah.
like somebody has looked at the books and so on, or gone, well, if we just make that like 0.5% more or 0.5% less, then it'll make a huge difference to games. And
Is it
I don't know.
I have to wonder, do they have some sort of algorithm or something that just checks statistically random hits to various classes and stuff, and they determine that if you give them 20.5% health, it's like suddenly 17% more likely that they'll have one hit point left or something stupid like that after an attack to extend the game? I don't know. It just
Possibly,
seems...
but I mean, we do know that Valve are crazy when it comes to their stats. They do all kinds of back end. I mean, even when the game first came out, you had the stats page. They gave you stats from the very beginning. No games really do that, so it wouldn't surprise me if they have something along those lines. But hey. So the last thing really is almost leading into our next bit, which is the background screen on your menu now is a Halloween one, which would lead you to believe that there has been a big Halloween update, but there hasn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kind of up.
That's a weird one.
But that doesn't mean we're not getting one, does it?
No, that's definitely not the case. I mean, there is a blog post that was put up there saying that, you know, we're turning on all the old events in the meantime while they work on. So I'm just triple checking. It does actually basically confirm in the blog post that there is going to be a new version, a new Halloween update. It's just that turning on the old stuff. Yeah. But they're just turning on all the old stuff.
That bastard this time. I only got to fight Headless Horseman jerk once, right as the servers were updating to no longer Halloween mode.
Oh man.
So
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they are definitely running the CP Manor event across all servers because I learned back in August about it when I was still kind of new to playing, and I went searching for servers that had the Manor map going on, and I could only find like 2 or 3. But now that Halloween's here, I ran a search for it yesterday. Boom! There's got to be like 200 servers on the coast alone running it. So yeah, they're definitely in full swing.
The thing with this particular update, this update occurred to Team Fortress 2 last year. So it's identical to the one that happened last year, whereby you have to be sort of 10, I think it's 8 or 10 people on the server on one particular map, the CP Manor map. And when there's like the right number of people on the server, it'll automatically go into this event mode. Presents, as in boxes that are wrapped up with ribbons, appear randomly on the server somewhere, and it's the first person to run through it after it's officially appeared that wins a hat. And the hat, I think, is a paper hat.
It's a paper bag with the different classes on.
That's it.
If you get one of all of the classes, you can craft it into a Saxton Hale.
That's exactly it. And as well as that, there's also the Horseless Headless Horseman, the HHH, that will appear randomly on the point that's currently being capped. And which time you've got to try and kill it. So both teams basically have to stop, do what they're doing, and go and kill the Horseless Headless Horseman.
Or use his appearance to your advantage to cap points behind busy red.
Yes, that's what I do.
Well, that's it. I mean, if you do find yourself, if you are targeted, you get like a little skull and crossbones over your head if you're targeted, and the Horseless Headless Horseman will chase after you. If you're trying to stop a point from being capped, just run back to that point, because the chance of you surviving is fairly limited. But when you're dead, it'll choose the next closest person.
Yeah.
But with the Horseless Headless Horseman, the thing to do is to try and hit them with a melee weapon, I think, either during the death throws.
Because this is one of the achievements I didn't get last year.
Oh, right.
And the first time it kicked in this year, I played it and I punched him because he was distracted hitting other people. They came up behind him. I actually tried to backstab him because I thought, I wonder if that'll be an instant kill.
No.
Turns out it isn't.
No.
Really?
So I backstabbed him, and then he turned around and instantly killed me. But what happens is if you manage to do a melee hit on him, because he has a one-hit kill that has a longer range than you, if you get a melee hit on him, you get unusual...
Oh, no. You get it so long as you're alive, like you haven't died, I think, before he dies.
No, I died straight away.
So basically you go scout,
oh, really?
You smack him and run.
Yeah.
Oh, so basically, so long as you've got a melee attack on him, then you'll be given a unusual metal.
I may be wrong with that, but it might have just fluked out for me. But he pretty much, you backstabbed me, you motherfucker, and then killed me.
Yeah, I was going to say, the chat room is screaming at us that it has to be part of the final blow. So Okay, all right. I think the best thing
Fair
to do
enough.
with this one is look it up on the wiki. I can't be asked to do it right now, but yeah.
God,
So
look things up on the internet.
yeah, I know.
Why can't the internet bring it to us?
Yeah,
That's
don't
what
we?
the chat room's for, right?
So yeah, but that's kind of one of the reasons why you find lots and lots of scouts on the server during CP. I mean, there's enough of an irritating populace of them anyway, but they're all running around trying to get in that one tap and then going and hiding or being there at the end and suddenly rushing in and tapping them. But the main reason why you get lots of scouts running around is because they're all looking for the presents.
Yes,
And it's
of course.
so frustrating knowing that the presents are all going to spawn in the same places they were spawning last time. They all spawn on one of maybe a dozen locations. You get people joining the server and not playing, just standing in the point
in
where
the
the
spots
presents are
where
going to
common
be
spots.
spawning.
Which is upsetting.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's why I like to take my soldier and go around and punish them.
yeah. So this is the frustrating point of playing this map is that you do find people not playing it because they want to play Team Fortress 2. They're playing it because they want to farm the server. And that for me is an experience that I hope that they've addressed in what will be the Halloween update next week.
Okay, I've just triple checked. I'm looking through the wiki thing. Yeah, basically you're right. You do need to stay alive during the boss's death. So I'm presuming that when he killed me, somebody killed him at the same time.
Right.
It was just a lucky coincidence. But what you end up getting is haunted scrap metal, which is basically you can only get it through doing that particular achievement. Gourd, it's called. You can only get it through that way. I don't even think you can trade it. I may be wrong on that fact though.
But
But you can.
can you combine them? Can you smelt haunted scrap to make like haunted refined?
No, it doesn't work like
well,
that.
the haunted metal itself is a one-use item.
Yes,
You
you
use
use
it to
it to
create-
basically make either one of two hats, which are specifically Halloween themed, or you can combine it with again a bunch of refined and a Scotsman skull cutter
That's
to
it.
create the horseman, Triple H's head taker. It's like quadruple H.
Great,
It's
now
the
you're making
horseless,
us think of a
headless
wrestler when you say
horseman's
that.
head taker. His big ass axe, basically.
Yeah.
Which
4HT.
doesn't have anything special. It's just a skin change.
Well,
but, you know,
it's slightly special. It was slightly special this time last year in that its range is so far that you can pretty
yeah,
much
true,
you can pretty much decapitate someone from the next server. Yeah, it's a little bit OP.
But no, I've actually just looking at it now. It does actually have no random crits, and you get minus 25 max health on the wearer. But
think-
like you were saying, it's got such a ludicrously large
Yeah.
hip, swing on it that
Yeah.
But the other thing that's kind of frustrating from my point of view, having been there for this last year and got my spooky metal, to then turn up for it this year and find that I can't get spooky metal this year because I already had some from last year. So it's a bit of a non-event for me. But again, we've had so many people, so many new people come into Team Fortress 2 since last time. Well, we went free to play in that period. So there's almost tens of hundreds of people have joined this time that didn't have access to it last time. Eric is one of those people.
In fact, yes.
Exactly. So for
You know what?
these
That's
people,
probably the
it's
reason why they put it on ahead of time to accommodate for the new players, give them
possibly,
that little bit of
possibly.
extra fun.
So yeah, it's still random. It's still fun. It's possibly as much fun this year as it was last year, and yeah, sure. It'll do until we get the official Halloween update. I think that's
For
really
the
what I'm holding
record,
out for.
I am I don't know if I'd mentioned this on the show before, but I am
Yes,
a
you
really
have.
big fan of the Halloween stuff, and I love the Man Manor map. Just the attention to detail and all the cool stuff and the aesthetics of it is. I know it's just basically a reskin of Mountain Lab with a few changes here and there, but God, I think it's a beautiful map. So whoever made it, I don't know your name, but yeah, bravo to you.
Well, the map itself
It was part of a contest.
That's right. It was the Arts Pass contest where the map was made by made by Valve and put out to the community, and the community was tasked with a role of painting the map, creating different kinds of skins for it, creating different kind of objects. And that's why you've ended up with a bunch of maps, 3 or 4 of them that are available in the game now, which all play kind of exactly the same-ish. They basically all have the same layout, but by their sheer differences in art style, feel like completely different maps when you're playing them.
Like Man Manor feels really kind of tight. It doesn't feel massively open, like massively open. But because the Mountain Lab is kind of set half indoors, it feels a lot more tighter than it is.
Yeah, the indoors parts of the Mountain Lab feel claustrophobic,
feels more open.
but the outside bit feels more open. It's and there's even little things like the midway point between 1 and 2, control points 1 and 2. There's that little hut off to the left-hand side. On Man Manor, there's a hole in the fence. So like the hut is kind of broken at the bottom. You can actually get a rocket through there. So you can't build a teleport exit there, whereas in other versions of the map, you actually can build a teleport exit there because it's all closed over. So there are very subtle and very interesting little differences between the various maps. But yeah,
Oh yeah, Manor's wall, the one right. If you're coming out of Man Manor, the wall on the upper right is closed off in Man Manor, whereas in Mountain Lab it's all open. I think.
Yeah, there's like I say, there's loads of different sort of little subtle changes that force you to play the map differently.
But that will hopefully be all kind of overshadowed by the next Halloween update that will hopefully be coming in the next week. The word on the street is it's Tuesday, but that's not confirmed. So hopefully, I want there to be another map that comes with it besides just a bunch of stuff, and I suspect that probably will be the case, seeing as last year was Man Manor, the year before that was Harvest. You know, I'm expecting another map, Halloween-themed map, to come with it. And I really hope they do, because that's the stuff that really kicks ass.
Oh, yeah.
But if you can't... Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, I was just going to say real quick that we talked about this before we went live, and I'm going to bring it up here, is that if people notice when they start the game and they see that Halloween, the new Halloween title screen with the class in front of the background, that background with this, what looks like a skull rock, my guess is that's going to be the new map.
I was
based
thinking
on the
same
fact,
thing as well.
yeah, that they've probably just like they do with, you know, sometimes you start up the game and you get a background that's you know, like 2 Fort or something like that, and they've also used that update, as you can see right on the KritzKast page there. There you go, you see it, there it is. The same background is used there with that, I guess, demon pyro or whatever it is. But
yeah.
anyways, long story short, my guess is that's the new map.
Yeah, my
But
guess
if you
is...
can't wait until then?
I was going to say,
Oh,
my
sorry,
guess is that they're going to be wings.
Wings.
Man, I just realised with that image that you...
My guess is that that's going to be the new boss, and that we're going to have another boss, and it's going to be whatever that is.
The Demon Pyro.
The demon. You see, everybody says it's a demon pyro, but I can see it, but that looks more like a snout than a gas mask to me.
Yeah, but look at the arm, look at the sleeve. You can see a class logo barely there.
Yeah, you can
The
see the
horse
pyro.
is technically just based off of the Demo Man model. It makes sense for them if they're going to make another boss to base off of, you know, more or less another skeleton system. You know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
In this case, a fire-breathing monstrosity would make sense if they just use the pyro.
That does make perfect
make
sense.
Yeah, but then what are you going to do for Skyrim tie-in?
It's a dragon.
That's a dragon.
It's got wings and horns. See? Haha.
So one of the things that we hope that this upcoming Halloween update doesn't overshadow is fan-made content. This is the Night of the Living update. It's a face punch project in exactly the same style of the one that they recently released, the unofficial Medieval update. They now have this unofficial Halloween update, and it is brilliant. It's absolutely amazing. I can't say things bad about this because there's nothing bad about this. It is awesome. I feel so much like a comedian at the moment. Yeah, it's okay.
That's all right. No,
I think it's very cool too.
It's very, very cool. I mean, like they've done. These are the same guys that have done, like you said, the Halloween. The Medieval update. They did the Summer Island update back in the past as well. You know, they do some marvelous, marvelous work. And if you look back at all of them, which is really interesting, you go, "Hey, I know that item. That's in the game now. Hey, I know that item. That's in the game now." So when you look at this, I would be looking at this going, this is stuff that will more than likely... I mean, not all of it. There's a lot of stuff here, and that is a big thing to point out. There is a lot of stuff in here. But I would not be surprised if we see some of this next year, in next year's Halloween update. It's a bit late for them to add it in now, unless Valve are crazy. You really, really good at,
Well,
time constraints.
Yeah.
Which,
I have a friend
so.
who quote unquote has it, on good authority that some of the Halloween designs, including stuff like the Loboto Century for the Engineer, have been accepted by Valve. Like not just put up for grab, but they actually have confirmed accepted them, and that is something we can look forward to seeing. So I don't know if they'll get it in time for this year, but that's the word I hear.
That's why I heard some of the things, but I don't think it's going to happen so quickly. Although saying that, a lot of these are on the workshop. Like you were saying, if you go through a lot of these items, you can download them to have them on your computer as a reskin and stuff. But then you can also see them on the workshop, so they've all been submitted and things like that. It's really, really cool stuff in here, though.
I love that Loboto Century. I downloaded the skin from the Night of the Living update.
Yeah. Well, I love the way they presented it as well. I mean, it's this kind of almost Cluedo-ish kind of appearance of multiple deaths and gruesome things happening, and like each time you go to the site, you go to a different day, you go to a different page. There's new content in there. There's so many really, really cool things. And
I just updated day 3, and I haven't looked at it.
Yeah,
So
I was going to say the day 3 stuff is brilliant as well.
Good point.
But no, there's lots and lots of links to things that are appearing in the workshop, and I think that's the thing that they've done differently this time round that they weren't able to do before because there was no workshop before. So if there's anything you particularly like, you think, oh man, that's brilliant, I wish that was in the game, then click on the workshop link and go and vote on it, because that's the way that things get into games now.
Wow, some of day 3 stuff is awesome.
Yeah, I agree with Codename. I really like the crossbow for the reskin of the Sydney Sleeper for the sniper.
What, for Van Muddy? Or Mundy, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's the thing is, in each of these levels, I mean, go first of all, go have a look at it. Halloween.tf2mods.net. Go make up your own mind. But if you look at it, you go into each day has a different kind of setting, and there's a map on there, and you can go in, and there's like pages. It's like each day has got 5 pages in it. There's so much content, but you don't feel like it's a drudge. You're like discovering it, and each one has a theme, and it's all Halloween themed. It's just fantastic. The quantity and quality to go with it, because normally you get one or the other. You normally get a lot of stuff that's crap, or a little stuff that's awesome.
Well, even as little as going on to each day and clicking on the help. The help is funny stuff. I mean, there's just every single help is different. There's also always new stuff in there. It's like the entire site is eggs. Like everything is like a Kinder Surprise or a bloody Kinder Surprise. It's brilliant. I mean,
why does it taste like copper?
Yeah, so it's very difficult not to really, really enjoy everything that's happened on this unofficial Halloween update.
It's in the kitchen TF2 wiki.
What now?
Oh, I was answering a question. Sorry, too.
How dare you
them,
communicate with the chat room?
He wanted to know where the Loboto Century was, and it's in the kitchen with the other NG stuff.
That is fantastic. Of all the people, though, I could see the engineer having a Halloween themed update just for him type things, because of the whole Frankenstein possibilities that could go along with it.
Screw this science stuff. I'm going with some magic. Right.
Hey, science is magic. Depending on your mythology. Anyway,
if it's sufficiently advanced enough.
But really, we can't say more than just go have a look at it for yourself, read it all, because it's fun and funny stuff, and it's the kind of stuff that we know Valve are looking at. We know Valve are going, this is awesome. We just wish that you could have something like this. Saying that, I wouldn't want all of it in the game. Not that there's anything wrong with the majority of it, but just have an update of all of that. Yeah, it'd just be so overwhelming. The quantity of it is just staggering how much stuff has been made. Literally just for this. Just this little themed event, and then you put that into context of how many people make things for TF2. Oh, it blows my mind. It really does blow my mind.
I'd say if you listen to this live, you probably... Sorry, if you listen to this in the future, or Anyway, whenever you listen to this,
Sure.
If you're
go,
listening to this in the past, boy, do we have some news for you.
I was going to say that's weird. No, but if you're listening to this, wherever you hear this podcast or wherever you hear this message, go check on youtube.com/KritzKast. Check out episode 140, the post show. We're going to have Smashman, who is the guy who created all the HTML for the website itself. He's going to come in. Hopefully, he's still going to be awake, and he'll come in, join us on the post show, and we'll talk a little bit about the site. We'll talk a little bit about the guys who created this stuff, and maybe get a few sort of insightful snippets. So watch out for that on your YouTubes. And anyone listening to this live, hang around. After the show's done, we'll grab him in, and obviously, if there's anything that you want to ask him, bring it up as a question in chat, and we'll stick it to him then.
We'll stick it to him.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So I think really until next week, that's going to be your dose of spooks and ghoulies and not ghoulies, ghouls, and all those kind of things. I'm really hoping that the big Halloween update will be happening by next week. I'm fairly certain it will be. Otherwise, they'll miss Halloween.
Yeah.
But edging slightly away from Halloween just because it's scary. And we're backing away to the corner of the room. We've got 3 different competitions that are happening in Australia. When I say competitions, I mean competitive events that are going on. And this is something we always kind of talk about either the European scene or the American scene. And a lot of people say, you should speak more about the American scene. You should speak more about the European scene. There's a huge scene going on in Australia that a lot of people just don't know exists. And of course, time differences are a big problem, and obviously it is restricted to Australia due to internet connectivity
lag,
and things of
basically.
that nature. Yeah.
There's a freaking ocean in the way of everyone else.
Exactly. Like the Europeans can play with the Americans just fine for the most part, even though there is an ocean in the way, but that's because there's more than one cable going through the ocean, whereas Australia's just got one broadband cable, which is...
There's a guy named Bob that sits near it.
Yeah, it's badly in.
I didn't know they could even have Team Fortress 2 in Australia. I thought there was too much violence or something.
No, that was Left 4 Dead 2. Left 4 Dead 2 has a stupidly toned down version in Australia due to graphic violence.
Yeah, nobody's dead
You're
in
fighting,
Left 4 Dead 2 in
you're
Australia.
fighting clowns, and they
No.
burst forth candy.
Yeah,
whenever
that's right.
you shoot them or something.
Yeah, that's the kind of crap that promotes piracy, by the way.
It's
But that's a
left
whole
for
different
clown.
topic.
Yes.
Discussion.
Let's not get into that.
Well, let's not get into that one, shall we?
Yeah, well,
Australia
yes.
piracy
maybe
capital.
another show someday.
But yeah, there are 3 different events that are going on in Australia at the moment. There's the ozfortress Winter League, which is happening with the grand final is happening on Wednesday, is it?
That's right. We've got the IM Intel versus SQL Gaming. And in fact, I think SQL Gaming were one of the teams that recently got themselves fitted out with sponsorship. So congrats to them. I think they now have 3 teams in the ozfortress leagues that are now sponsored, which is kind of cool. But yeah, the OWL is like this. The Winter League stuff happens every year around winter, which seems appropriately named. This is the 6th one. And yeah, hoping to have a really good sort of matchup. And you could obviously tune into, I think Vanilla TV are going to be doing one of the shoutcasts for that. But best place to go for that is ozfortress.com, ozfortress.com. And in fact, all of the Australian news comes from ozfortress this week. We actually have a show match, an exhibition match coming up as well. This is the Battle of the Sexes. It's men versus women, or boys versus girl, or whatever. Male versus female is probably the only way of saying it without offending one group or another.
Scouts versus Pyros.
Sorry.
Yeah.
As their advertising picture leads you to believe, Scouts versus Pyros. But no, yeah, it's an interesting one because everybody else goes, guys are better, whatever, But it's because of the quantity. But then there's a lot of guys. It's fairly common knowledge. There are more guy gamers than girl gamers, but there's a lot of bad guy gamers as well.
Right.
There's a lot of good guy gamers, and there's a lot of bad guy gamers. Females is no exception. There's a lot of bad. There's a lot of good. So it's
It's called
I think it's
statistics,
interesting.
people.
It is all statistics. Yeah.
Hey, I definitely know some good female Team Fortress 2 players, and in fact, for
Oh,
a
hell yeah.
later conversation, but I will point out that Team ERG for the Highlander has 2 girls on the team. Thank you.
Two.
Should we
girls.
get on to
Two girls.
Team ERG later when Team KritzKast and Team ERG face off against one another? But yeah, there's talking to WM about this earlier. He's one of the admins or the head admin for ozfortress. He's saying that the female side of this has actually been organised by a girl, a real girl. A real girl!
A real one!
A real one!
As opposed to the
That's
mechanical
everything.
ones you keep in the back.
That's it. So I was
Forget
thinking
I
of
said
maybe people submitting urine tests to prove that they were one sex or the other, as opposed to being just 12-year-old boys. But no, it looks to be. I'm glad that this kind of thing exists. It's a little bit of a kind of almost taking the piss out of ourselves. Like Tempest was saying, that there's this kind of perception that boys there's too many boys and too few girls that play TF2, even FPSs, and I think that is kind of a fallacy. I believe that there's it's not quite sort of 90 to 10%. I think it's more like sort of 70 to 30 or 60 to 40.
It used to be 1 in 10 gamers was a girl.
Yeah, and I think
that's like a really low ratio. I don't think that's the case anymore.
I know so many gamer girl. It's ridiculous how many girls game. And I think the other thing is that it's kind of important that there is still a lot of sexistism within the game itself. So if you're on voice chat and you appear to be a girl, then you'll have a tougher time of it, or certainly there'll be a perception that you have a tough time of it. So a lot of girl gamers don't admit that they're girl gamers. So I think that this kind of thing that actually encourages girl gamers is fantastic, and I wish them the best of luck with this. It is the invitation only. I believe that teams have already been picked. It will be going live November time, end of November. So yeah, I think there's more news to be had with this. And when
are we rooting for the women then?
Yeah, totally. Of course we are.
We're rooting for the women. I always root.
Utterly.
But you see, that's the horrible thing is I always say I usually root for the underdogs. And no matter how much we say it's like there are some awesome women players out there, where the general perception will be the women are the underdogs, but everybody will be rooting for them.
Put it this way: of all the people in our clan, in Clan Vengeance, I think all those who have ever been in Clan Vengeance, the only 4 people I'm really afraid of, like really fearful against, sort of going head to head, 2 of them are girls and 2 of them are boys, and that's it. 50-50 split.
I would probably say that's about right, yeah.
So there's maybe they don't have the numbers of boy players, the numbers of girl players, but they have the quality. They really have the quality. So I reckon that the male side of this is going to be, or should be, shitting themselves, because the number of actual physically good female players out there, when they get their teeth into a competition, woe betide anyone who gets in their way. So anyway, that's a bit of fun, and I'm really looking forward to that one. The last story in terms of the Australian events coming up is actually a 4v4. This is a King of the Hill. It is the first time that this event has ever been tried by anyone anywhere. So this is like a world first. The fact that it happens to be taking place in Australia is more because of the relationship that ozfortress has with Team Fortress 2, in that it is such a like an all-embracing kind of a community stroke competitive scene and competitive environments, that they can do these kind of things that only previously could be done by PopComp or KritzKast with their off-class cup. And they're coming up with this 4v4 King of the Hill. It's actually not going to go live until December, but we've got a sneak preview of the map, of the banner. Obviously, if you're listening back to this, you won't be able to see it. But if you're live, listening to us on KritzKast.com/live, then you'll be seeing it in the live video feed now. That map has only just, or that poster has only just come out, and I think this is a really cool poster as well. But that's a tournament that's going to be taking place the end of or middle of December, so something to look forward to on that. So of all of this stuff, place to go for it, ozfortress.com. If you're anywhere near sort of Oceanic region and you want to get involved in the TF2 scene, these are the guys to go and see. This is definitely where it's at.
Yeah, we really cannot stress enough how we like to promote it. Because unfortunately, the internet is not at that point where everybody can all play together in this perfectly lag-free environment, as if we're all sat next to each other. So unfortunately, people do get segregated to different areas. So we can't help but promote when a small area or an area that's cut off from everywhere else wants to do something and get themselves going. You know, like we were talking about last week, we did we're talking about South Africa stuff, Australia this week, even Asian, for that matter, Asian Fortress stuff. They've been pulling out this week, so you know we can't help but talk about them. They've been pulling out the Asian Fortress Halloween event, which is a 2-day tournament that's going to be happening on Halloween on the 29th and the 30th of October.
This is Halloween, by the way.
Is that not Halloween?
No, Halloween's the 31st.
Halloween.
Is it the 31st?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
well,
it's the
close
weekend of the
enough.
Halloween.
I don't really care. I'm not a pagan.
I am. Anyway, so I mean, with the Asian fortress, this is ridiculous what they've actually got going on. They basically, if you want to take part in it, apart from having to be in that area, well, one thing you need to do is download the Saxon Hail mod. Because it's running on the Saxon Hail mod. It's kind of like half Highlander in that it's only one of each class. But then one of each of your team will be chosen to play Saxton Hale. And we've spoken about the Saxton Hale mod before. You become Saxton Hale. Your weapons are your voice, so you can yell at people and make them scared, or you can punch them. I think it's like one hit kill as well. So, but everyone else, and you have like ridiculously high hit points. So everyone on the enemy team has got to try and fight and shoot and do whatever they can to wear your hit points down to the point where you lose. But Saxon Hale can make you like fall over with a single glare kind of thing. So it's a really, really difficult thing to try and beat Saxon Hale. But the way they're doing it, I think, is every single player on the team will be Saxon Hale. And then the time it takes for that Saxon Hale to be destroyed will be all added up. And then the people on the other team will all get to be Saxon Hale one at a time. And then it's whichever team lasts the longest is the thing. So it really does come down to your ability to play with your team when you're on the defensive, or your ability to be a complete git when you're on the offensive. Exactly. And this is, again, we're talking about world first. This is definitely the first time I've ever heard of anyone making an event out of the Saxon Hale thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a fantastic idea.
Sounds
I think
awesome.
The mod, I mean, that mod is fantastic. The only problem with it is that when you play it, you could randomly be Saxton Hale or randomly be the Headless Horseman, Triple H. God, I'm never going to get to say his damn name. I'm really not. But
practice between now and next year, and you might be able to get it.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Then they'll cut it next year.
They won't have it ever again. It'll be the Headless Horseman.
But that is the only problem with Saxton Hale mod, is that everybody wants to be Saxton Hale at least once, and it takes so long to sit in there and do it all. This is a fantastic way of doing it, to not only say you're all going to get to be Saxton Hale, but to make an event, a tournament out of it. It's just superb. It's an absolutely cracking idea.
It's fantastic.
Cracking toast, Gromit.
Oh, it's a
cracking. You can't say that without doing the fingers, though. Cracking toast, Gromit. Yeah.
Every time I hear a British person say cracking, that is the first place my mind goes. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, it's fine.
Interesting fact. That's not British.
Really?
No,
So
I'm
what?
just
Who?
fucking with you.
That was
Man.
British. It's not funny.
Oh,
Yes! Damn!
Oh,
I'm
can
gonna
I kick him from the
high-five
call now?
Saturday
why
Night
do-
Live, they pull out crackers every week,
Yeah,
don't they?
why do we have him on the show? I don't know.
Why can't we ever have nice things between our countries? Why must we always fight?
I blame the team myself.
Well, I'll tell you what, while we're fighting, why
And I
don't we
like
do something
Gromit.
about it? Huh?
That was misleading. I just had to get the joke in, but I actually do like Gromit.
That's all right. Well, we'll let you off
Yeah.
this once. But while you two were at each other's necks, we're having
Yeah.
an America versus England kind of thing going on. Screw it.
Not
Let's
on
make
purpose.
teams.
On
Let's go and
purpose.
have a fight, shall we?
We are.
Well,
We
say
are?
that we
Oh,
we
yeah, of
are.
course we
Obviously,
are.
the ETF2L Highlander, the sign-ups are definitely open. They've been open for a good week now. In fact, they don't close until the 30th of October. But we've discovered that actually, KritzKast has a much more effective team. We're pushing forwards this year. We've actually we've done a little combination with the guys over from, I think it's Duck Duck Quack. So now we have KritzKast, Distinguished Ducks. Our logo was created by Josue Pereira. I can never get his name right, but basically the guy who does Nerf Now. So
awesome
absolutely everything about Team KritzKast is fracking awesome this year. We have got so many really, really cool, like massively into the Highlander scene guys playing this year. We are totally, utterly, and completely going to destroy competition, including the likes of Eric Ruth Games. Team Eric Ruth Games.
No slouch. You're not rolling over us that easy.
Uh-huh. So what are you bringing to this? What have you got? What are we fighting against there, Eric?
All right. Well, we're actually still trying to. We've got our backups in place who are okay players, but we're still trying to hunt down an NG and a pyro, like a good solid one for my team. I'm the soldier for our team, and that is what I refer to as my rape class, because where I come from, the rape train has no brakes, my friend. And I think people will be interested to know.
Also, the head of it is shaped like a rocket.
Tempest, you're on Team KritzKast, right?
No.
No, he's not.
I'm.
No, we want to win
unfortunately-
this year, so
Yes, thank you. I was going to take a nice distinguished step back and say
No.
about time commitments and unable to practice, but no, you just twatted me up. That's
Yep.
fine. That's fine too.
Well,
No,
well,
I'm not good in a competitive environment. My friend and I talk about it. There are two different types of players. There are do-goods and fun-havers. I am a fun-haver. I am not a do-gooder. I can't,
You fun good haver. Wait.
I'm not a good fun-haver, no.
That sounds like terrible English. But you know what? We're going to skip right past that, and I will tell you that Kronos is on Team Eric Ruth Games. So
Yeah.
You treacherous son of a bitch.
that's right. He backstabbed you assholes and joined me.
Okay, first off, Agro's the one who said, by the way, Eric is looking for a demo for the
Excuses.
Highlander.
Excuses.
Would you be interested?
Treacherous
It-
son of
it
a-
was-
Okay, sure.
dude, I was
Why
just
not?
setting you up. I was seeing where your loyalties actually lay. I thought if I lay this out for you, if I tie a little ribbon on it, and if I make it into a steak, if I cook it rarely and I push it out to you, and you go, well, clearly that's a good enjoyable steak, but I'm not going to touch it. It's an Eric Ruth Games steak, and it's not a KritzKast steak. Then we'd have welcomed you into our bosoms. But as it was, you were like, oh, steak! Oh, nom 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 nom.
And now you are bosomless. Do you hear? You have no bosoms. To speak.
Nobody told me that there was a KritzKast brand steak available. I only thought there was a brand
Hey,
steak.
now you're starting to go back on me, you jerk.
Available at www.kritzkast.com/merch. I wish.
Man, we
I
totally
wish
need
we
our own
sold
steak.
in
How
our
freaking
store.
awesome would that be?
Awesome.
We need a meat packers company to come in with us.
Strokey, beardy, strokey.
I've just realised what meat packer means.
It's like a
I
fudge
just have
packer, but a lot worse.
Yes.
I have to point out that I'm actually looking very forward to this. I love the Highlander scene. I've been playing Highlander lobby now for a little while, and I'm just very excited to see this in a competitive play. And I hope that you guys have just as much fun as I'm sure I'll have. And
Yeah.
I wish it could be requested that we could do a Team KritzKast versus Team Eric
Well,
Ruth game.
this is the thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a cup; it's a league. So everybody will almost certainly at some stage have an opportunity to fight against everybody else. And
So you
even
think we will go head-to-head at some point?
even if we don't get that opportunity, I think that we should definitely set it up as like maybe a practice class, a practice run, one versus the other. It will happen. There is no way how this cannot happen.
I agree, completely agree.
and I think
will just decimate you.
Ha!
I will decimate.
Well, I'm going to leave you with the last word on this because I do not believe that will ever happen, and I just want to offer this up to you that when we fight and you think you're going to decimate us, we'll see.
Do you know what? Now I'm glad I'm staying out of this. 'Cause it's going to end up with somebody crying, and I just can't tell if it's going to be Eric or Aggro. It's going to be one of the two. Somebody's going to cry.
Eric,
Well, I have
Eric,
to-
because either
I'm going
way,
to say,
what
Eric,
the
I'll
hell?
cry over your grave.
Oh, boy.
I am going to. I promise you one thing. I will leave it at this. This is my last word on it. Chugga 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 chugga. Rape rape.
Oh.
Place your bets now. Place your bets now. Oh dear.
We'll embrace cheerily after the tournament's over. We will alter the character animation so that our characters can hug when it's done, just to show that we're not bad guys.
Yeah, high fives all round.
High five hug animation.
Yeah, you can't high five members of the other team though. I just realized that.
Damn.
Oh, but you can shoot them in the face. That's just as nice.
That is. You know,
I was kind of like high-fiving them in the face from a distance.
That's
Yeah,
warm and
with a
fuzzy
gun.
and bloody. Speaking of warm, fuzzy, and bloody, I think it's time to go to Postman Pat's sack.
There'll be knock,
Way better segue than anything I was cooking up.
letters through your door. Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat, and his black and white cat.
Good evening, KritzKast listeners, hosts, and yeah, I guess if you're not a listener or a host, then you're unlikely to hear this. But if you're not either of those two subgroups, hello, I'm here to read your emails. Not that you've probably sent any in. The first email tonight is from Gideon, and he says, "Hey folks at KritzKast, Gideon here from that con you ran." That's a meetup and not a crime. I wanted to say a big shout out to you guys from Hong Kong, and even though I'm fast asleep right now, know that I'm listening to your podcast the next day. So, to pick a random topic, which crossover items would you like to see in TF2, and who would use them? Something from Tron would be nice, perhaps the disc for the Pyro. Perhaps we should totally pee on copyright and give NG a remote control mini Optimus Prime. Hope to see you guys when I'm back home for drinks. Gideon. Why give him a mini Optimus Prime? Why not give him a huge one? Give the engineer a gigantic truck battle mech and just let him run amok on servers. That's what I say. I really hope somebody actually goes and designs that now, because that would be brilliant. Apart from that, I am looking forward to seeing what crossover items there are for Dota 2, and there's no way that Valve's going to let that game release go without a couple of crossovers at least. So kind of interested to see how they'll implement those style of stat boosting items into the game. But we'll see. It's all in the future. Anyway, I'm sure the hosts have their own ideas, so here they are.
I got nothing. Not a single idea. Pat was misleading you.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, we don't think things
No.
with stuff words.
Well, I mean, my favourite game pretty much of all time is Day of the Tentacle. And there was, in the Halloween update, there was a Day of the
Yeah.
Tentacle. There's the
I was
Yeah.
looking at
pyro
that.
with a tentacle head. I kind of like to extend it a little bit further, maybe kind of bring the Nerf Now into this and have just one huge tentacle. So maybe 10th class tentacle. Not
Yeah,
sure.
I'm not comfortable with that at all.
Aggro,
I'm not comfortable with having tentacles in my game.
KritzKast, not your porn hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, did I get that? Is it? I thought it was Thursday.
No, you're not at your regular meeting.
Aggro's
You're not in
porn
the
hour
hentai
is
group.
okay. I'm sorry, guys. No, but I think
Can't we? Okay, what does it have to be? Something in Team Fortress 2? Why can't we take a Team Fortress 2 weapon and put it in something else? You know, why can't Francis from Left 4 Dead wield the sticky grenade launcher? That's what I'm trying to say.
what
I hate explosives.
you've been playing a lot of the Dungeon Defender, haven't you, Eric?
Say what?
You've been playing Dungeon Defender, haven't you?
I have. I've been playing the hell out of Dungeon
And
Defender.
doesn't that have like TF2 characters in game?
Floating
And a
around.
portal
your
Yeah,
head.
they're in the game. Basically, how things work is you can get 3 different types of items: either weapons, armor, or pets. Pets are the things that float around somewhere in the circumference of your head and shoot and give you bonuses on defense and health and so on and so forth. And the Team Fortress, 4 of the Team Fortress classes appear as pets, but you can only get them from level 25 on. So while they tell you if you pre-order the game, you get these, Team Fortress pets for free, you can't use them until you put like a solid 8 hours of gameplay into it. But yeah, they have the heavy, the engineer, the medic, and the pyro. All of them are bad at additional statistics. Other pets in the game, like little dragons and flying tigers and crap, have great boosts and bonus to all sorts of different things. But the Team Fortress 2 ones only have like I think 2 each. But the upside to it is that they all do a lot of damage. Like the heavy constantly fires at the nearest bad guy. Pyro does the same thing, both fire-based attacks. And then since it's a fantasy world, they're characters that are, ice-based and fire-based and electrical-based. So, there are a lot of ones that are weak to fire or some that are impervious to it even. So an engineer repairs your defense towers while you're near them. So you can be fighting off a horde yourself while the engineer's just going around just banging away with his wrench at stuff. And the medic, who I think is the worst of them all, just heals you, but he heals you very slowly, and you will lose way more health from hordes than you will gain back with that medic on you. So I don't know, I feel like there needs to be a patch.
Well, I'd say, looking at the chat room for inspiration, we've got code names actually coming up. He wants a Minecraft crossover.
I wasn't even paying attention to the chat. I was looking over in some other direction, just listening to this. I was thinking, so how can we get the creeper into TF2?
You have a diamond pick or a diamond sword, and it'd be all that kind of jaggy edges as well.
Mm-hmm.
That would be brilliant.
Run into the front of 2 Fort there. Son of a...
I think they should just re-release all the vanilla weapons in Minecraft version so they all have a poly count of like 50.
I agree with this. I like this. I don't know, because like when I was reading this, he was talking about like the discs from Tron and things like that. And so I kind of went down the movie route, and I was thinking like, there's a load of stuff that I'd love to see, like a lightsaber in TF2, but then that would look completely out of place.
Yeah.
But then again,
so much stuff in the game now does look out of place.
Random idea. What they could do is maybe a new melee weapon for the pyro or something. He just gets a big-ass acetylene torch and just cranks the flame up really high, so it's just this big-ass flame coming out. Like, there you go.
And hums for some reason, and then you get
it would make a sort of noise. It wouldn't be the correct humming noise, but yeah.
And then 10th class is George Lucas following the pyro all around with a lawsuit, going, "Stop that! Stop it now! No, put that down! That's not no. Copyright.
Or strippers.
Or strippers. I think I vote for strippers.
Yeah, definitely strippers.
Here's a random one. Although we probably already kind of have it in some form. You ever see the movie Minority Report?
Yes. It was basically like an advertisement for the iPad before the iPad was real.
Yeah, basically. Long story short, there's a scene in there at some point where the main character is getting chased by a few guards. I mean, that happens through a lot of the movie, but he's in some warehouse setting and he has some sort of weird, like, energy gun thing that just sets out the shockwave. It doesn't, like, hurt anyone. It just throws them around and it'll do it from a distance as well. That'd be kind of interesting. I mean, the Pyro kind of has something like that already, but I don't know.
A gravity gun crossover with Episode 3. But we'll never see that.
I think maybe they need some sort of
the Antline ball. That's it.
Like a radio that plays Linkin Park music, and then all of the other classes just scatter, so they just run away. Like that's all, like you're on a point, and they come to cap, and then you just like play whatever. Yeah, Linkin Park, and then they all just scatter, and you've got the point.
Great. The way they do it realistically in games, they just give let's see, what's the least likely class? I got it. They give the medic an accordion.
Medic an accordion.
Or they could do the more logical path and go the demo man with bagpipes.
Yes, good old bagpipes. Oh no! I tell you what, I think the chat room has got the best one ever. Crossover with the KK thong. Yes, they should have a KritzKast thong in the game just because.
Yeah, and which character would you like to see wearing that? Tempest, go ahead, please enlighten us.
Say again, sorry.
Which character was it you would like to see wearing the KritzKast thong? Please.
And this is where if Boobies was on the show, he would say stripper.
Stripper, obviously the 10th class, which is the stripper. Duh.
Okay, go on.
Then. I'm going to go with no class. Actually, now you say that loud, I'm like, no, you know what? No, I don't want to see any of them in the KK thong. Especially not the heavy.
Or the pyro.
I'd say the pyro would wear it just on the outside of everything else they're wearing, be like the super stripper.
Yeah, that would be the thong. They literally wear it on the outside of their clothing.
Yeah.
If the whole thing is that the pyro
it's the
could be a woman,
crossover.
Maybe the pyro is the stripper, and she's just got a weird outfit to begin with.
Just a
See, don't go
baggy
giving
thing.
them ideas, Tempest. We
Meet
don't
the
need
pyro
that.
that like he had a really awesome idea. It was well structured, and it could be a new film. But we're throwing that out because the pyro's a stripper from here on out.
Who knows? Maybe they already put a crossover in. Maybe the pyro really is a stripper because he's a crossover with Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah, they've got like the hatless update. Maybe they've got just like the clothesless update where they're
Oh
all
no, no.
All the pictures from it are just from the top up. It's like
I'm afraid that particular skin mod has already been done, and no, I will not have it in my game.
Why would they? What would?
People have made a nude mod.
Next letter, please.
Yes.
We are done.
Email number 2, and I'm afraid it's our last email from the night, is from, I hope I pronounce this correctly, Elbagast. Hi KritzKast, though mostly aggro. Seeing as you spent a not insignificant amount of time on the last show talking about the reserve shooter being in the pyro's hands now, I wondered if you have any thought about whether or not the model visually fits the pyro. Being the guy who made the model, and being that I specifically made it with only the soldier's background in mind, it seemed a bit out of place to me when the change went live. I wasn't sure if they were going to implement it as it was. I immediately set about making a version that I felt was more visually appropriate. It's up on the Steam Workshop now, and the link is there. It'll be in your chat room and the show notes page. Some guys out there seem to prefer the current colours though, and some even seem to have built coloured loadouts around it, so I suggest that this be available as an alternate style. I have no idea if the TF team would do that, though they've never taken an item out of a set and put it in another class's hands before either. There's also a visual glitch when it's held in the pyro that I emailed the TF team about when I first went in the beta, but they were already aware of it, so I have no idea if they already have a fix for that in the works, and it simply hasn't been shipped. So what are your thoughts on this? Keep up the good work. I normally listen to the show when I'm working on something TF2 related. Regards, Elbagast. I don't know. I think it definitely fits the soldier better than it does the pyro. The pyro, up to now, has had obviously cobbled together weapons from bits of flame stuff. So I think that putting something that looks that clean and finished in his hands looks, I don't know, it kind of jars just a little bit. Yeah, apart from that, that is everything from me for this evening. Thank you for all your emails, and please do continue sending them in. If you have anything TF2 related, send it along in an email to mail@kritzkast.com, and we'll see you about getting it on the show. Peace out, guys. I'm struggling to find a witty way of signing off, so I'll just leave it there.
Wit commencing.
Commence wit. Yeah, so that's really interesting. So we got the guy who actually made the reserve shooter has sent us an email, talking about what we were talking about last week, which now it's in the pyro's hands. It doesn't quite, it's designed for the look and the feel of the soldier, and now it's in the pyro's hands. It's not the look that he was going for. It doesn't look wrong, and I don't think he necessarily needs to change it. However, saying that, the picture that he's got of it, and we'll put it up in the show notes, and it's in the chat room right now. Besides, obviously, sticking some flames down the side. It's the simplest change in the world, but no, it actually really works. Just giving it that more red feel, giving it that more, not military issued feel. Now it just feels like a shotgun that the pyro has hacked together himself or herself.
You know how most of the pyro's weaponry works visually. It's like things made out of gas pump parts and like ovens and whatnot. Everyone says the pyro's really stupid, but he's secretly brilliant if he's able to take this crap and make working weaponry out of it. I don't think the fire was that big a deal. I mean, I think I can see what he's saying, but I mean, just to make, because my input on this is very swift, so I mean, it doesn't look bad to me. I mean, is it themed properly? No, but I don't really care.
Yeah, is it themed properly? No, but then again, we have a cow mangler, so it's all swings and roundabouts.
I can say I swear to God, when we first talked about this, when it was released, when it came out for the pyro, I could have sworn that we said at the time that it originally had been designed for the pyro. I think it
had
originally
been designed for the pyro.
No,
yeah.
I think from this email,
not
it sounds
the model.
it sounds like the model had been designed for the soldier, but had been given to the pyro in beta, had problems in beta, and those problems either haven't been rectified or are going to be rectified now that it's over with the pyro again. But yeah, it's. I had no idea. I mean, there's such a history to a single weapon. It seems it's just incredible. The changes it's gone through.
For the soldier,
yeah,
but then the mechanics were designed for the pyro,
yeah,
and then it went into the soldier's hands, and now it's eventually, after quite a while, got into the pyro's hands, and now even though it works mechanically for a pyro, it may not look like a pyro's weapon. It's so bizarre, all the changes that go through, and this is why everything takes so damn long. At Valve. If you think about all of the changes that I've just said out loud now, those aren't quick. They don't just go, yeah, we'll do this. Oh, by the way, do this. There's huge steps involved, and they're doing that for every single weapon, potentially every single hat, every single change that goes in the game. It's no wonder every update takes forever and a day to come along. So it's like, sorry, my brain just went into Valve Appreciation Day or something like that. Appreciate your
somebody
Valve developer.
slap him.
But yeah, looking at the pictures, I kind of, if I was to envision this weapon, yeah, like you were saying, the pyro's weapons feel like he's built them himself after rummaging through a scrapyard. Like scrapyard, duct tape, he's good to go.
In that sense, it makes sense that he has the reserve shooter, because I don't think he would be one to build a shotgun, especially one that looks like that. But imagine that he rummages through the junkyard and finds an old reserve shooter and then just fixes it up.
Yeah,
true. Very true.
Well, he found the flare gun somewhere, like maybe someone dumped a raft in the freaking junkyard for some reason, and then he decided to make it explode even more and duct tape some more crap onto it.
Well, I don't think it's the pyro that makes these. I think that it's well, it's just that it's Manco makes all the weapons. The engineer hacks them for the pyro. So this I can see being like another hack job by the engineer, and I don't know. Maybe part of me is saying no, the engineer would not paint it, but kind of thinking, well, actually, maybe the engineer would. I mean, it's a gift. Every single one of the weapons to the pyro has been like a handcrafted gift. So maybe thought he'd do something special for the pyro. I'm getting into.
We all know that the pyro is
I'm
into
getting into
arts and crafts,
fanfic.
paint
What
himself.
the fuck? Shoot me now!
It's like earlier on we were talking about the idea of the Meet the Pyro video and start again. Now we've given him a new backstory. It's like he lives on a junkyard and he's got all the different things.
I just looked at the Steam Workshop and now Agro's dog has commented, "I like it." Yeah,
that's not actually Agro's dog.
Wow, I didn't know your dog knew how to type.
He doesn't. He knows how to talk though.
Oh, that's not as impressive.
No, I meant he speaks German.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's especially not
German Shepherd, so clearly.
Oh, really? That's where we went with that.
Too obvious.
A little bit, yeah.
So yeah, that was all the emails that came our way. We did actually have a few more, but they weren't really relevant to things that were going on. There was a lot of stuff that we were talking about last week, which is fair enough, and we do appreciate when people even send us emails of that nature, so we can get, have a natter through. However, if you want to have your emails on the show, if you want to talk about something that hasn't happened yet, if you want to talk about something that has happened, fair enough. But if you want to talk about things that are coming up next, your ideas, some new directions or whatever, send them all to mail@kritzkast.com. If you want to send any pictures and voices to go with it, even better. Not required, just it'd be nice. Yeah. So before we kind of wrap things up and say thank you to everybody who's here, we've got the issue. It's a worrying issue because every week it's a terrifying task that we have to do, which is to pick our player of the week. And it's been a bit of an odd week, really, because as much. Oh, sorry.
Camelot.
I was hoping 1 week we could get through it without someone saying Camelot. Really?
Okay. KritzKast. It's
only a podcast.
It's only a podcast.
Yes.
Now, I mean, it's been an odd one because we've had some weird things. As I've been saying before, if I had the ability to make everybody involved in making the Halloween update player of the week, I would. However, There's far too many people that are involved in it. We cannot give it to one single person because it wouldn't be fair on everybody else that's been doing it. So just want to say before we go, really good work to everybody who was involved in that. But
Yeah, you get a metaphorical lo-fi. You get a metaphorical gold lo-fi. That's what you get.
exactly. You can walk around the house telling, friends and family that you have a lo-fi hat on, and they can cart you off to a insane asylum.
Yeah.
In fact, if you play with me sometime, you jump on Steam, you play some Team Fortress 2. Doesn't matter what hat you're wearing, I will say, nice golden lo-fi. That's very sad.
You'll get an Eric Ruth golden lo-fi.
Eric Ruth golden lo-fi.
Is there an 11th class that's just guys in white suits with a straitjacket just going for whoever's saying this?
I
Who's
think they'll-
the suits?
I
think
I can say I really want to put it out there. Elbagast.
Elbagast, yeah.
not as easy as it looks.
Thank you, Tempest.
You bold
Yeah, no,
cast.
for creating what is now my favourite weapon at the moment of the reserve shooter. I had to think about that. For creating the reserve shooter, I think Elbagast definitely gets my vote of Player of the Week. And the fact that he actually listens to the show as well, that's kind of awesome. I really, I'm getting a Steam Woody for Elbagast.
Are you starstruck?
And on that note,
You keep that to yourself, young man. But no, actually, I would kind of agree with that. It's awesome whenever we hear from people that have had a direct input into TF2. I mean, we often talk about Rusky Doo, who's obviously good friends with us, that does a lot of stuff. So it's always nice to hear that people who are actively changing TF2, even if it's just with models or whatever like that, are looking to us and saying, yes, I agree, or no, I don't disagree, or whatever, and actually, being a part of it, everything altogether. So yeah, I actually would kind of agree with that. I think we should make him Player of the Week, partially just because even though his work is out there and it's finished, he still wants to perfect it.
Yep.
And change it and make it better.
Awesome.
That's an admirable quality. So well done, good sir. You are our Player of the Week. Nobody say anything.
KritzKast.
Good. We got past it this week.
Yeah,
so
before we close it all up, a big shout out to everyone who turned up for the Fancy a Pint event in London. A lot of people show up from UKCS. We've got a whole bunch of sort of cross section of Londoners show up for what was probably an inappropriate pub. It turned out to be a lot smaller, a lot more cramped, and a lot more noisy than the advertising would have had you believe. But people came from literally all over the country just to be part of a little bit of a meet-up between myself, comedian, and in fact Rusky Doo showed up, and it was absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed it. And again, another shout out to Hideous as well, who has turned 27, you old fart. So yay, woo!
That's like your skin's gonna start rotting now. Ew.
Dude, I'm much older than that. Fuck you.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to mention it.
Yeah,
but,
you're not. You wait, man. You wait.
One day I'll be old.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, it will.
I'll be
Yeah,
young
one day, right,
forever.
Aggro? One day we'll be old, Aggro.
Yeah, never happen.
Oh, alrighty. Well, thank you ever so much for everybody coming and listening. Thank you, Eric, for coming on the show again. We love having you on. We love it. We just love it. You're great fun to have a chat
Eric,
with.
where do we go to, or where do other people go to try and get hold of you and your many amazing works?
You would go to www.ericruthgames.com for free downloads of my entire library to date.
Your life work for free.
And
My
nothing's
life-
better than free.
There was
Unless it
nothing
says gives you money.
because I love my people.
Hey.
Do you want to mention the fact that you got picked up recently?
Yeah, I can do that. Actually,
bar?
Eric Ruth Games is no longer just an independent gaming organization run and powered by just myself. A company up in Baltimore called Pure Bang Games has just acquired me, and now I will no longer be working with other people's intellectual property because that's not really how it works in the industry now.
Yeah. That's not really legally safe now, is it?
Yeah, as it turns out, which is a shame because I was planning on adding a bunch of stuff to Team Fortress Arcade, including online multiplayer and player versus player and stuff like that.
Oh,
but
man.
I am under contract and can no longer update Team Fortress Arcade. So that is big. I'm very sorry to the community, but my ass is now owned by another person.
I was going to say,
hang on.
while
Picked you up?
let's say, while there may never be any more updates to Team Fortress Arcade, there will definitely be updates to Team Fortress. I'm sorry, almost got the name wrong there. Gang Garrison. Gang Garrison has literally, in the last hour, had a major update. Ganggarrison.com/modern. I'm getting the information fed through to me live as we speak. So head over to Gang Garrison now, check that out. And head over to ganggarrison.com/modern, check it out. I think there's a new mode or there's a new map. There's so much new content in there. Go check it out. Okay, guys. Finish the close. Sorry about that.
Can I finish now?
Yeah. Go on. Finish, Evans. Go on.
Well, I do want to say thanks to everyone who had me on today. You guys are great. You know I love you. I'm always happy to come back and talk with you. You guys are always fun to chat with. Guys listening, thanks so much for coming in. Thank you for the many congratulations and love. I certainly appreciate it more than you will know. And I love you guys. I love all of you.
Oh.
It's a love fest here. So yeah.
No, it's a sausage fest here. There's a difference.
I don't want to hug you anymore.
Well, wait until he's put some pants on.
Yeah, put your pants on, then I'll do some hugging. And even then, it will be at a distance. Don't ask, it just will happen. So anyway, thank you, everybody. This was episode 140. Hopefully next week, in 141, we'll be talking about the Halloween update. Woo!
Chicken sandwiches are good.
Ooh.
Good night.
Good night.
Night, Kevin.
That was another episode of KritzKast,
Another satisfied
I don't know what
customer.
happened there.
brought to you by thepodcast.com.
Our influence grows.
Visit us for show notes as well as access to our Steam group, Twitter, iTunes, merchandise, and much more. Or have your say at forum.thepodcast.com.
Oh, wow, that was weird. Guys, thanks for everybody joining us in the live YouTube and whatnot. So not YouTube, but the live chat. We're gonna stop the feed now, but stay around. We've got Smashman coming in. If he's on Skype at the moment, he should be sending me messages going, get me in now! But we're going to have Smashman coming in. He's, I say, responsible for the HTML behind the Halloween, the unofficial Halloween update. So he's going to come in and talk to us a little bit about that. Hang around, and we will see you in just a couple of minutes. You're welcome to stay, Eric. We don't want you to go.
Well, I am going to. We have company over here today, so I am actually going to run for the time being.
Then kill the
However, my invitation to you gents stands in like the next hour or so. If you're going to jump on TF2, I'd love to play with you guys for a little bit.
Ooh, that sounds dodgy.
They all say.
That sounds dodgy.
It so does. All right, guys. We'll see you in just a couple of seconds.
All right.
Can we turn to 30 seconds? No, I'm not making that mistake again.